and welcome to another edition of Rambling Rides with Amber and Rain. I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank all of you who contributed to the fundraiser I held a couple weeks ago. We were able to raise $15,000 for the Wild Horses of Alberta Society. So I'm really excited for the Wild Horses of Alberta Society, but I am also just so thankful to have such an incredible fan base and community that really jumped on board when I announced that fundraiser. So thank you to all of you. That's going to make a big difference for them. And I'm really proud to be able to be a part of that. So I'm just heading home now from running some errands in town, and as you can probably see out the window, it is not a very nice day today. We woke up this morning to about 1.5 inches of snow on the ground, currently at 0 degrees Celsius, which is freezing, so 32 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's kind of like rainy, slushy, snowy, not the nicest driving conditions, so I'm being sure to be safe. But I wanted to get this video out because it is the middle of November and there's lots going on, lots to catch you up on. I'm headed home right now for an interview, which I will hopefully post some links to when it comes out. And there's also another event coming up that I'm really excited about, and that is the Canadian Agribition. Now, I attended the Agribition the last time that it was running, and then we were in talks to have me come back for last year, but everything was shut down and canceled, so that didn't happen. But this is their 50th anniversary. So I'm really excited to be a part of it again this year. There's a few different ways that you can run into me, so to speak. I'm going to be doing a little presentation at one of the rodeos. That is on the Thursday, I believe, and I'll get all this information up as well in writing. And then on the Friday, I'm going to be doing a cooking demonstration. And this is always so much fun for me, and I never considered myself a cook, a chef. I'm not any of those things, but I do enjoy it, and it's just one of those things that I think it's more of a fun interactive thing for me when I get to do a cooking demonstration at an event like the Canadian Agribition. So really excited for that, and if you guys want to check that out, I believe it's at 2:30 on the Friday, and I will post more information on that as well. What I'm cooking might sound very simple, but I'm putting kind of a twist on it, and it's something that I like to take on things that you can do on your everyday meal plan schedule. It doesn't take a lot of ingredients. It's something that's easy to do but still good, and uses some of the farm fresh items I have available to me as well. So that's really cool. And there's also a dinner that I will be hosting, as well as a meet and greet, but I believe both those sold out already. The dinner might have a few tickets left. I know that there was only a few when I looked the last time. So I'm really excited for those things too. A lot of you have been asking, you haven't been out in so long, like what is the anticipation like? And I'm just excited. You know, I think so many of us, we have not done a whole lot publicly in the last couple years, and I mean, I myself, I've always looked at it as you can't live your life in fear. You cannot hide because something could happen to you, because that's not a life. And I live that way through my animals as well, because people always say, you know, what happens if your cats go outside and get eaten by a predator, or your ducks, or your rooster, or your horses, or anything like that. And I think it's always better to have a full life of adventure and exploration and all of those things than to sit at home and hide because you're afraid of what might happen if you go and venture out. So that's just the way I've kind of always lived my life, and that's how I hope my animals live their life too. So I let my animals just roam and do what they want to do, and yes, sometimes bad things happen and sometimes predators get them, but in the bigger scheme of things, it's all in the ways of nature and the ways of life, because you know those coyotes need to eat, and it's just how it is. So anyway, I won't get too far into that. We don't need this to turn into a depressing talk. It's actually, I'm really happy today that it's kind of overcast and raining, because we do need the moisture. It has been an unseasonably dry spring, summer, fall for Alberta, and everything is just, it needs moisture. Now, mind you, I don't love this 0 degree moisture, because then you never know if it's going to be icy or snowy or rainy, and the animals don't do so well. Like, the animals do really well, I find, when it's a bit colder and snowing, because the horses and cows, they develop a really nice insulation layer of hair, and their hair puffs up, their fur puffs up, and the snow just sits on it, on top of it, like a nice blanket. And that's how you know that the horses are well insulated, because their body heat isn't melting that snow. But when you look out in this type of weather and it's raining, or it's half snowing, raining, slushy, they don't look so happy. You know, they're all standing in the shelter and they're wet and they're just kind of miserable. So that's where I usually, go out and put some rain sheets on, or something that will protect them from that moisture, make sure they're in their shelters. And Betty's doing fine. A lot of you have been asking about poor Betty. She's a little bit older. Betty is my alpaca, for those of you who don't know. And I didn't shear her this spring, because I found last year she didn't grow in a thick enough coat for the winter, and she just really was not doing well once it got a little colder. So I left her a year, and now she's got the perfect amount of coat, and she seems to be doing really well. I've been giving her pellets a couple times a day and lots of hay, and she seems quite happy and healthy. So she's doing fine, for those of you who are worried. And little Ranger, the orphan foal from Woes, he's doing great. He's doing better than I would have ever imagined. He eats like crazy. He's growing like crazy. He is so strong. He beats up on everybody. I've got him turned out with the herd now, which I think is exactly what he needed. He just believes that he's the boss, and I don't know if that's the wild horse in him, that he just has that. In order to survive, they have to be tough, and they have to be dominant, and all of those things, especially being a little stud colt. So I turned him out with everybody, and the older ones are not letting him get away with as much as the younger ones did. I had him turned out with Finch, who's a little yearling, and he would boss Finch around like crazy. So I think that I might try to pair him, once he's weaned off milk replacer, I might pair him with an older mare, like a mama horse, who can kind of put him in his place a little bit, because that's what he needs. He needs someone to say, nope, that's not acceptable. You don't climb all over us. You don't pin your ears and charge at us. So he's a handful, that little guy, but I have noticed a big change since he's been out with other horses and he's been in the herd. So he's coming along, and I'll keep you guys updated on that. Basically, once the weather turns to this cold, snowy winter has really set in, then it's kind of nice to just be all cozy in our little cabin. I put up my Christmas lights, as many of you saw in my story the other day. I love Christmas. And I also put up most of my decorations inside. We don't put up our tree until because we always go out and get a tree we'll go out just in the forest with the horses and find a tree and cut it down and drag it back. So we haven't done that yet, because with a live tree, as you know, they don't have a very long lifespan indoors. Even if you give them plenty of water and vitamins and things, they just they don't last very long. So we usually wait until December to bring home a tree. Many of you have also asked how Rain has been settling in. That's Rain in the back seat there. She's part of the family. I wouldn't say that there's any settling that will happen until she's about 12 years old, because she is a purebred working border collie, so that doesn't actually happen. But settling into the family, she did right away. So she's been a really good dog. Still needs me to keep an eye on her she likes to always herd, right? That's just in them. So she's always stalking the cows, she's always stalking the horses, she's always stalking the ducks, the rooster, the birds, the cats, the whatever. But she's been really good, and so far she's out all day with them, and everybody's still doing okay, so that's good. But she will, like, especially if I'm out there doing chores, she thinks that it's her turn to really work everything. So she'll get in there and nip at the heels of the cows and the horses. She doesn't hurt anything. She's just trying to work them, and she thinks that that's what I want. So she's been doing really good. Remy's doing really good. Remy is almost 12 years old. She's the shepherd that many of you might have seen on Heartland. She plays Georgie's dog, and she's been Sean and my dog for her whole life. So she's doing really well, but she is slowing down a bit. You know, I noticed that being a shepherd and being a big dog and being almost 12, she's starting to slow down, but I think rain helps keep her young too, because they were loving the snow this morning. Remy loves the snow. She just turns into a puppy again. Okay, well, I've actually reached my house, so I'm gonna turn off the truck, but I thought I would just wrap up in saying that I am so fortunate to have such an amazing community of people that are so good-hearted, and it really, I don't know, not that I didn't know this already, but when I held that fundraiser and you guys were so just on board with helping out and making a difference, that really kind of, I don't know, it did something to my heart. I was like, wow, this is a really amazing community of people. And every time I go onto social media or I meet any of you in person, I'm just reminded that this is an incredible community. So I want to thank everyone, all of you, who even if you haven't or weren't able to make a donation or anything like that, I want to say thank you for just being kind, because that is the main thing that I notice when I go on social media. And every once in a while there'll be a negative comment or someone who might be having a bad day and just says something, and the way that it's handled by all of you and the responses are really great. You know, it's like I know lots of people that they'll say things they don't really mean, or they'll lash out because they're not happy, or, you know, there's something going on in their life that they're stressed, or there's a situation that they can't control and they feel vulnerable, and the only way for them to really express that is through negativity. And there's lots of people that just need a hand, right? They just need a helping hand. They just need someone to say, hey, are you okay? Like, do you want to chat? So I really see this in the community, and I thank all of you who are a part of it, because it brightens my day when I go on and see all of your amazing comments. And I know that we just had an episode air last night that I loved filming that episode, because for those of you who know me know that I just love being on a horse, and I love working cows, and I love being out in like the most beautiful settings ever. And so that was a lot of fun for me, because we were on a horse most of that episode moving cows, and a lot of my friends were actually the stunt doubles for all of the actors. So that was really fun too, because I got to hang out with my friends and ride horses and move cows. I mean, what better job could you have? I don't think I could find one. So thank you again for supporting the show and watching the show, because as you know, this is my dream job, and I'd love to keep doing it as long as we can keep making great stories. And I do feel, I know a lot of you were really upset with the storyline in season 14, and feel that the show is just not the same. And I agree, the show's not the same, but I do feel like it's still a beautiful show full of amazing stories, amazing characters, amazing scenery, and everything else about it. I miss Graham. I miss Graham a lot. Filming this year was totally different, and last year. But at the same time, I still love what I do, and I still love the stories that we're creating. So I think that for those of you who are kind of on the edge, try to look at the show as something that is different, but is still a beautiful show to watch. Because I think it is. You know what? It is. I'm not even going to say I think. It is a beautiful show to watch. And we all worked really hard to create this season, and it means a lot to me. And the people and the animals and all of it is really cool. So I'm glad that many of you are loving the stories this year. And I think the cattle drive was fun. I mean, it wasn't just fun. It was a special episode full of lots of drama. We got to see Lou in the power position, which, I mean, Lou's usually in a power position, but man, for those of you who haven't seen the episode yet, I won't give any spoilers, but that ending, whew, that was hot. So I think, there's lots of really great storylines and characters that are in Heartland, and I love that it's just a wholesome show. Because I have to say, I did watch Yellowstone right after Heartland, as I know many of you do, because the new episodes are on the same evening, and I love Yellowstone, but holy, it's like night and day. With you have the same sort of scenery, the same premise with ranching, but totally different stories. And I think maybe next time I'll watch Yellowstone first and then end with Heartland before I go to bed. Might be a little better to like wind down. Okay, I think I have rambled long enough on Rambling Rides with Amber. I'm wishing all of you a wonderful and productive week. If it's snowing where you are or the weather's kind of crappy, just be safe on the roads. Our roads were really good today as I was rambling and driving. Just be safe out there, guys, and make the most of it. You know what? If you can, get out, get exploring, be adventurous, do something that's maybe outside of your comfort zone this week, and then let me know how you did. What did you do? And how was it outside your comfort zone, and how did it feel? That's my my words of wisdom for the week. Okay, take care, guys. Be safe.